I did shadow work for 8 years, and in this video I'm going to explain what I learned by doing this practice and also what it brought me. So if you look at shadow work, what did it really bring me? It mostly brought me more freedom, more inner freedom. And I'll explain what I mean by that in a second. Another thing that it really brought me is more appreciation for reality, and that reality is both light and dark, both love and fear, and that all these things that we say are negative also have positives, and that all the things that we think are positive, they also contain negatives. Everything has like drawbacks and benefits, whether it's light or dark. And by doing shadow work on yourself, and in a sense also on reality, by seeing the shadows of reality in the world, then you can become more whole and more loving. You can appreciate reality more and yourself and the different parts of your being. And that brings more peace. More peace, more wholeness, not broken into different pieces and then saying, this is what I am not, and this is who I am, or this is what I want, and this is what I don't want. And then, yeah, that brings more peace and more freedom. So let me expand on the freedom aspect. So if you really look at shadow work and really the main premise behind it is that shadow work is the idea is that you become more conscious of different parts of your personality that you've repressed. Maybe there were certain experiences in your childhood, maybe there were certain experiences later in life that had a certain imprint on you. And then there's kind of like a fracture. Oh, this is what I don't want. This part of me should not be here because it's being judged, or it's somehow undesirable. You cannot handle that experience, maybe. That's also a cause of it. And then, we repress those things because we don't want them. They lead to bad things. And then, it creates a shadow part. And then shadow work is the practice of becoming more aware of these shadow parts and then integrating them back into the whole. Making the unconscious conscious is how you could also look at it. And I won't go into all the kind of like basics of shadow work. I've made videos in the past about shadow work. I'll link them in the description. You can look at them, and those will explain more of the basics. And then also in this video, I will still go into what are the most important lessons that I learned by doing this for 8 years. So let me start with this inner freedom aspect, which is actually a lot about depolarization. So when you look at reality and yourself, there are a lot of different polarities. So a polarity is, for example, light and dark, smart and stupid, love and fear, masculine, feminine. What can I think of? Nature, technology. Being present or being in your head, feeling peaceful, being stressed, being beautiful, being ugly, being weak, being strong. So these are all polarities. And you could say one of them is a side of a polarity. So you have strong and weak. So together they are a polarity, and then you can be in one of the sides of this. You are maybe now feeling weak and you want to feel strong. You want to be strong. So you go to the gym. You want to become big and become strong. And I'm going to share a story about that in a second. Or maybe you want to feel beautiful as a woman and you put on a lot of makeup because maybe deep inside there's some feeling of being ugly, that you don't fit a certain standard. Maybe you want to be very slim because now you're feeling fat. You don't have the ideal body composition or something like that. Maybe you want to be really successful because now you are feeling not successful. And the nuance here is that you can actually feel beautiful and feel successful and feel strong and feel smart and feel intelligent and feel powerful, feel really powerful. But what often happens is that it comes more from a motivation of actually feeling the opposite, and then we don't want to feel that. We don't want to feel weak. We don't want to feel powerless. We don't want to feel stupid. We don't want to feel unsuccessful. We don't want to feel like a failure. We don't want to feel not good enough. So the practice of shadow work is actually starting to become honest with yourself. That you allow yourself to feel those feelings and go into them. Because this is what you are repressing, these feelings that are quote unquote bad. And then you go into them. You go into the trauma. You go into that in meditation, in journaling, different practices that you can do. Go into them. Become aware of your triggers. Why are you triggered by something? Because there's already something in you, a certain energy that has a certain, how can I say, activation. But you're maybe not even conscious of it because it's in your unconscious mind or it's in your subconscious mind. Subconscious, I would say, is, you maybe sometimes are becoming aware of it through triggers, or maybe at certain moments you are really aware of it, but then it goes, back into your own subconscious again. It goes like a little bit more dormant. I would then maybe say that unconscious, if you would make a distinction, is that this is something you're really, really not aware of. So it's outside of your awareness. And this is a funny thing with shadow work and also with any personal and spiritual growth, is that you just don't know what you don't know, and you also don't see things about yourself that you don't see. So then, it's this attempt to bring consciousness to a certain level to, make that unconscious part more conscious. And of course, sometimes that unconscious part becomes a little bit more conscious through, again, like these triggers or something like that. You are triggered by something. You see somebody on the news and you say like, oh, this person's really arrogant, or this person is really bad. And then you feel charged. You say those are the bad people. You feel charged. Then it's that invitation to look inside yourself. Why are you judging this? Or that person is bad. That person is ugly. That person is weak, or something like that. So there's just this judgment. And that's really what shadow work is, to really become more conscious of that, and to really bring that more to the surface. And when you do this, and this is the main point that I want to make in this part of the video, is that you can really discover that once you go inside the thing that you think that you don't want, you think you don't want it, but actually it has the seed of the thing that you think is desirable. Once you really go into weakness, and you really feel weakness, and you really feel that, and you really go into it, well, doesn't that make you strong? That you can accept your own weakness? Isn't that like really loving towards yourself? Towards this aspect of reality that is just an aspect of reality of yourself. Go into that, and then you will discover strength. When you think some part of you is ugly, go into that, feel that, see that. Wow, isn't that beautiful when you can go into that? And then you'll end up in beauty. Because the beauty and the strength and success, all these things, they are already here. But you just think that this part and how it shows up, oh no, that's not the way that I want it. I want it to be like this. And then you go into that undesirable thing, go into that. Then the vibration can really change, because you're actually going into this thing instead of trying to deny it. And this is really shadow work. And then you integrate that into your being, and then you have more authority around this energy inside of your life. And then from that place, you can more consciously choose. Okay, well, now I want to feel strong, and then I go to the gym, and then I do the certain practices. But it's not coming from this place of, I am not good enough. I am not, because you've solved that. You've solved that. You've collapsed the, the charge around this polarity. And then you can actually be more of a conscious creator of your life instead of being a reactionary. And this is really what shadow work really does in the core. And then it makes you more whole and more complete, and you have more this feeling of being complete. And let me just check my notes for a second, and I'll go into more of a personal story, which also relates to this, to make it really clear. So I just explained the concept, and maybe you need to rewatch it to really grasp it. It's something that takes some attention, some thinking about it to really understand it. Or maybe you already understand it, and then that's great, of course. So let me just share a personal story around this, and also then something that I've been experiencing lately that also ties into this. I just realized when I was thinking about what do I want to say in this video. So the experience that I've had in my life when I was growing up and stuff is that actually I felt kind of this weakness. I wanted to become more strong. I wanted to go to the gym and become more muscular and all these things. And then at a certain point, it was quite interesting that I tried to do this. I actually went to the gym and I studied like, oh, what do you need to do? You need to work out in this way and eat in this way. But somehow my body did not produce the muscles that I thought I wanted, or it didn't do. I didn't grow in that sense. You could say I was like a hard gainer. This quite a popular term. People that can't like gain these muscles or something, even though they are working out and doing certain routines and eating a certain way. So fast forward like many years, and I find myself in a certain situation where this thing came up that I really had to accept the feeling of not being strong, of being, in a sense, feeling weak in my body in physical terms. And this kind of had the form of that I am quite connected with my heart. So it's like kind of like a deep intuition that I can feel inside of my heart. And then at some point it was, what would happen if I just eat like a little bit less and not be so afraid that I don't eat enough, or that this would make me weak or something like that if I don't eat enough. Or what if I do that, and I become like a little bit less muscular or something like that. Somehow I felt this intention towards that. I couldn't really explain it. It was also just like a little game. There was like just some energies around that, like, not eating enough food. And maybe for you it's the opposite, eating, I really need to eat like very less food. And that's also like a funny polarity, right? Sometimes I wanted to eat like a lot of food, and sometimes I wanted to eat like less. Because when you eat less food, then you become like more slim, you become more lean. If you eat more food, then you become muscular and strong, all these things. So there's like tension around this aspect of reality. And that's just an interesting thing. And then, I really find myself in this kind of like position where I was like eating less and less, and I lost a lot of weight. And this is not a route that I would recommend to anybody, by the way. This is not something I would recommend. This was just something that happened to me. But long story short, in that experience that I had, it was really like, I just suddenly realized like, wow, okay, this is giving me a lot of strength. Like I can endure this weakness. I became like, very skinny. I can endure this weakness. Wow, that actually makes me strong. And then in that place, I really found like, okay, well, I can give myself permission to feel strong. It doesn't really depend on this thing. And then I gave myself more and more permission to feel strong, more and more permission to feel powerful, more and more permission to just feel that feeling that I wanted, because it's not dependent on these external things being a certain way, because it's within me. I found it within me. And then once I did that, my life started to change around this area of my life. I can clearly remember I was standing under the shower and also felt like quite weak, and then I really had like this urge, like, okay, heart or like inner world, I really enjoy this and I give myself permission to feel strong, but I also need the energy, like, okay, how can I do this? How can I make this happen? And then certain things happened in my life. One of my friends said, hey, there's like this new kind of diet and it revolves around energy. And then, long story short, my whole life, my whole paradigm shifted. But before that, I could not really access that. It was already there, like this kind of like way of eating or like different kind of like ways of thinking. They were already there. You could also say I manifested it. But I think they were also already there. But I could not access it because I was too much stuck in the polarity of feeling weak and wanting to be strong. And that happens, these things happen because these things are connected. So you could say that by going into the weakness and accepting weakness, that gave me access to this energy that is called, weakness and strength, weakness and strength, which is in a sense maybe power. So it gave me access to that. And then I could really change my vibration. And then now working out and becoming, more muscular in the gym and things like that, they're quite normal at this moment in my life. I work out 3 times a week. It's just, okay, I become stronger. It's like a cause and effect thing. It's just normal. And this is what it brought me. Now I feel strong. And you could also, maybe other people that are watching this, maybe if you're a woman, you don't feel so beautiful. Maybe you feel ugly or, you don't fit into a certain standard. Well, go into that. Ugliness is just the opposite side of beauty, and in a sense they are the same. If you accept the ugliness that you think you have, because in the end everything is beauty, then go into that. And I'm also really talking about the fear around it, because in the end, in reality, everything has benefits and drawbacks. In the end, it's all love. In the end, it's all the same. Everything has benefits and drawbacks. Also feeling weak or all these things, they also have benefits and drawbacks. Being ugly also has benefits and drawbacks. Being beautiful also has benefits and drawbacks. Being strong also has benefits and drawbacks. Being a failure also has benefits and drawbacks. Being successful also has benefits and drawbacks. Being the light also has benefits and drawbacks. Being darkness has also benefits and drawbacks. That there is darkness present in the world also has benefits and drawbacks. That there is, let's say there was only light, that would also have major drawbacks. People think they only want happiness and success and pleasure, but that also has drawbacks. Just looking at my notes so that I don't go too much on a tangent with all the different parts. What I'm really trying to say is that the thing that you think you don't want actually contains the thing that you want if you go into it. And this is one of the most essential things to understand about shadow work, because there are disowned parts of the self, disowned parts of reality and negative experiences that we think do not have what we want, and we say we don't want this. But if you go into it and in a sense heal it, and see it for what it is, just an experience, just a quality. But there's so much energy around it, so much fear and negativity that is actually causing, if you could say like on a manifestation level, a certain vibration, but you're not aware of it. It's in your unconscious mind. If you go into it, then you can actually depolarize, you can neutralize, and then it frees up this area. The polarity is no longer controlling you, because this is what happens. These things control people. And then that leads to more freedom, like what I said, because then you can actually choose. Then you can actually be free, because before that moment you are being unconsciously controlled by the fear and kind of like negative energy around these aspects of yourself and reality. And that's really, seeing that depolarizing is really the key to making it more neutral for yourself. Because in the end, everything is neutral. Can you neutralize it? And then from that place, it's much more easy to achieve certain things and achieve certain goals and make certain things that you want in your life. Because it's more like, all right, that will be nice to have. That will be nice to experience. It's not like, my body needs to look like this. My bank account needs to look like this. I need to have this success. I need to look a certain way. I need to have a partner. And maybe you say those things to yourself, like, oh yeah, like, oh, would be good. But like, if you are afraid of the other polarity, then that is simply, in a sense, on a conscious level, you think that is true. But if you go into that fear and stuff and really neutralize it, then you'll see that there are much deeper levels, and that you can access more of, how can I say, like, it's more that you can really love this other part. And that gives more freedom, and that's one of the keys. And one of the I'm sorry, I'm just looking at my notes just to see, like, okay, how can I really explain this? Sometimes it's interesting to find the words for, how can I say, a teaching that is a bit more depolarized. It's a bit more non-dual, but still it combines duality, and it still combines polarity. And one of the other things that you could say is that one cannot really exist without the other. So if you think like, oh, I want to be successful, then, well, success cannot really exist without failure also existing. If you think you want beauty, then it's like, okay, but it cannot exist without ugliness also existing. This is because reality is dual and everything is a polarity. So then if you do shadow work, you go into the other side of the thing that you think you want, and then it's just the other side. And then you can see that it has benefits and drawbacks. And that is something that, I'll just share more about. Okay, so benefits and drawbacks. Everything has benefits and drawbacks. So let's say, you are like a very beautiful girl, or you want to be a very beautiful girl. You can really think like, okay, like, what benefits does that have? Okay, well, maybe you attract a lot of masculine attention. Like, there's a lot of men interested. But that could also be a drawback. So let's say, then this woman who is very beautiful needs to manage all this attention. Maybe she gets like a very inflated ego, because she thinks, well, men just give me what I want and I don't really have to work for it. So that will translate into, maybe she is not really developed as a person that much, because she relies a lot on her beauty. That can happen. Or maybe it's, that's her whole life she has been handed like the silver platter because of her beauty, but then when she gets older, let's say around 40 or a little bit older, the beauty starts to become less and less, and that's really like a problem, because now she cannot rely on her beauty, and suddenly this attention goes away. And let's say maybe there's a woman who is considered a little less attractive, maybe even like downright ugly. That also has certain benefits. So maybe if she walks on the street in a certain place, then there would not be a certain man that wants to force herself on her, this man maybe would not even be interested because, well, there's like certain qualities that he does not like, and that, yeah, saves her from, yeah, a certain abuse situation. Maybe she doesn't get like all this attention, and then she does not even have to deal with that and all the problems that arise from that. And maybe if she finds somebody that really likes her for who she is, then she will experience more pure love than maybe the most beautiful girl that attracts like the most successful, handsome man on the planet, for example, that is really, really arrogant. And then this love is actually not really, yeah, like how can I say, like it's more fake. And maybe the ugly girl experiences, yeah, more true love in a sense. So can you see what I mean? I'm just trying to give like very specific examples now to explain, yeah, this concept, to make it like very specific so that you can also understand it. That's my, how can I say, intention by giving such specific examples. And this goes for everything. Let's say you make a lot of money, you become really successful. You make millions and millions and billions, maybe even billions or whatever number. Well, now maybe people want you for your money. Now you need to manage all these millions. Maybe there's like a certain place, oh, okay, what if I lose it? Now you have to manage like this million dollar business or whatever. It gives you a lot of stress. And yeah, just maybe people want you for your money. But then, of course, it also has benefits. So let's not forget that. Hey, now you have millions. Maybe you can use these millions to create like a magnificent life for yourself, a life of adventure, get like your dream house, have freedom in this world, bring more value to this world, even more. And then, yeah, the list goes on and on, of course. I mean, if you have money, you have resources, so you can make things happen in the world. And it gives more freedom. And then on the other hand, let's say, yeah, like you don't have so much money and you're broke. Well, then you don't have the stress of managing this $1 million business. Maybe you even feel like a failure. Well, okay, can you go into that? Well, okay, then you can discover that you're already good enough without all these things. Everything has benefits and drawbacks. And this is really what you learn also by doing shadow work. That's, yeah, the main point why I'm bringing this up. So let me see if there are some other things. So in a sense, you could say that love is really the key. Love is really the key because you start loving all these disowned parts of yourself. Maybe you feel alone. Maybe you feel powerless. Maybe there's guilt. Maybe there's shame. Start to love that. And when you love that, it no longer has power over you because love is the most powerful thing in existence because everything is love. And you don't no longer try to separate this part like, oh, this is not what I want. This is what I want. And that's really powerful. Also, yeah, with shadow work, of course, it's also very much about going into certain traumatic experiences, going into that. Oh, there was a certain abuse or certain things in your childhood that were very difficult. Maybe car accident. Maybe things with family. Maybe there were certain breakups. All these things. Go into them. They have benefits and they have drawbacks. You can see that very clearly once you know that, once you go really into it. That thing that you think that was the most worst thing that happened in your life, on a more truth level of existence, it has like benefits. And then, yeah, once you do that, then, yeah, really, like love is the key, like loving that whole part. And that's like, in a sense, doing shadow work on yourself and also on reality. And that raises consciousness. And then from that place, oh, 1 second, my screensaver went on. Let me see, it's still working, yeah. And then from that place, you can be more neutral and then create more of what you want. More of what you desire, because this is the essence of true power. I made a video, it was 7 years ago, because I've been doing this practice for 8 years. And then I looked at my video today, and it was really, I've been doing this practice for 1 year. And then now it's 7 years later since I made that video, and it was about releasing your personal power by doing shadow work, and that is what it actually does. Only it goes a lot deeper than what I thought back then. You can really go into these different aspects of yourself, these polarities, and then free them up. And I'm trying to repeat it and say it in a lot of different ways, to really bring this across. Because like I said before, it's in a sense a non-dual teaching, but then also takes polarity into account, and how you can neutralize certain polarities, certain energies around polarities, and then become more free and integrate them into the whole. And then that creates more unity within. And then you could say it also creates more unity without. And I'll go into that in a future video, that it also creates more harmony in the world and in yourself, because it's as within, so without. And then there's more peace and more freedom in the world. I'll talk about that in another video more. And just to share one more personal story, because I think stories are also a good way of explaining this. So at the moment, I think like in the past year or something, I went on a lot of dates with girls. I went on a lot of dates, had fun, but there was not like one that I really thought, oh, okay, like this is somebody that, or let's say it went more like this. So it didn't happen that there was somebody that I was seeing like more regularly or something like that. And I was kind of like thinking about this, like why did that happen? Some girls I didn't like at some point more, some other girls like, oh, there was just maybe not like a match. And some girls were just a one night stand. And then, I don't know, like it was like, okay, how can this next level come again in my life? And then, of course, maybe there were certain things around certain breakups that I still needed to kind of process. But then I also realized this polarity between being alone and being together. So then once I realized that, I was like, oh, okay, that makes a lot of sense. So if there is fear around being alone, really being alone, like sitting in your room by yourself, in a sense, maybe a meditation and just being alone. Just alone. The opposite side of that is being together with someone that you're really attracted to. Oh, there's a real connection. You're together. But now you're alone. But the funny thing is, when you are alone, and this is something that people are really afraid of, and in a sense, me too, like there's like this fear, oh no, alone is bad. But once you do that, like you really go into that, and you are alone, then you can also see that it's on the one hand also just a perspective. Because in the end, everything is connected, so you're never, in a sense, alone as a separate human being. Because there is only togetherness. There are like millions, millions of cells in your body at this moment, so you're very together. You have a heart, you have a brain, you have a sexual center, so it's also together. There is an object and a subject, so you're observing certain things. Who says there is like separation between these things? Because you are together. You are together. And then that's the case with whole existence. Like light and dark, they're also together. So then that really gave me a sense of, oh, okay, like when I go into this feeling of aloneness, and then I end up at, well, everything together. And you could also say that everything together is oneness. So there is only aloneness. And I can understand that. Maybe you need to. I'm not saying you need to, but it could be the case that if you watch this video again, that maybe certain things then start to click, because these things took me years and years and years of inquiry and looking at reality and then understanding them on a deeper level. And then still I'm trying to understand them on a deeper level and feel them on a deeper level, because that's sometimes more important. It's not only about, okay, what do you think and what do you know? It's like, okay, do you feel that this is truth? And then, yeah, you can discover that alone and togetherness, they're in a sense the same. There are a lot of people that are together with somebody, but they still will feel very alone. There's people in big cities that maybe have like tons and tons of friends, but then they're still alone. They still feel alone. Why? Because they're not really connected to themselves. Oh, okay, so if you sit in your room and you meditate on your heart and you feel yourself and you feel like your entire body and you connect with yourself, then you are connected more to yourself. This also allows you to connect more with others. And then you have more connection, more togetherness. So can you see that the one leads to the other, and it's not like, oh, okay, I don't want to feel alone. Because, yeah, it's also in a sense helping you. This is a little bit how existence works in a sense. And this video is becoming a lot longer than I planned, but I might make a shorter version. But, okay, these things are just flowing through me. So one last thing before I end this video is that you could also see shadow work as like integrating different parts of yourself. So shadow work and parts work are also very connected. You can go into certain parts of yourself. These parts have certain goals they want to achieve. And then you can notice that there's maybe a part of you that is like a little bit scared. Oh no, if this thing happens, I feel really afraid. And I don't want to look stupid. And yeah, I really need to be successful because otherwise I'm not manly. Or if I am not, well, if you're a woman or something, then it's like, okay, yeah, if I don't feel beautiful, then people will judge me and I will not find the partner of my dreams. And then maybe you can also discover another part that's like, I feel strong, I feel powerful, I am beautiful. Or like, yeah, just a different part, just a different part of yourself, because we're usually not like one person. Well, we are not. There's just different parts of ourselves. One part might feel quite confident, one part might feel quite scared. One part might want to do this thing, build $1 trillion business. Another part might want to be lazy. One part might want to put on a lot of makeup. Another part might want to feel very natural. One part might want to go to the gym and work out because of health reasons. One part might not. But why would it not? Maybe it had a bad experience in the gym once. So then, yeah, shadow work is also like becoming conscious more of these parts and then integrating them back into the whole, because there's also, in a sense, a self, the self in there, and then you can integrate them more into love, into acceptance and love, and show these parts that they don't have to be so afraid, in a sense, afraid, polarized, that there has to be so much charge, because then from a more neutral place, from more, just more this neutral, loving place, then from that place, it is actually much more easy to create the things that you want when you integrate these parts and become more conscious of those. Maybe, yeah, you outwardly you are very strong and successful, but is there maybe some part of you that still feels weak or something? And then, okay, can you integrate that more, and then maybe you can go to the next level? Or maybe there's just more appreciation and love. So that's what I wanted to share with you about doing shadow work for 8 years. And I understand that, maybe the concepts that I'm talking about are in a sense abstract, but they're also very practical. So I hope with the stories that I shared that, yeah, it made it more practical for you. So what you could do is look at your own life and look at what are maybe some polarities that you are stuck in. It could be any, I mean, there's millions, there's infinite in a sense. Maybe it's beauty and ugliness. Maybe it's slim and fat. Maybe it's failure or successful. Maybe it's doing something good or feeling guilty. Maybe it's things from the past that are haunting you, certain traumas. Can you look at those? Can you neutralize them more? Because this is really what doing shadow work is, in a sense. And also make sure, if you want more of the kind of like basics of shadow work, to watch my previous videos. I'll link them down below in the description. And then if you learn those and there's some practices around that and ways of thinking, then it could also make sense to come back to this video, then look at it again, and then see like, oh, okay, this is what he meant by it, what I meant by it. And then you can take that to the next level and then really start to develop more of that freedom, more inner freedom, because you're not controlled by certain polarities that you think are good or bad. And then you can go to the next level of your life, of your personal and spiritual growth. Be more free, be more loving, feel more peace. So that's all for this video. And if you feel inspired, if you think that we could do some great work together, or if you just want to know what it would be like to work together with me, then you can click the link below. There's a option to do a free call with me, and we can look at anything that you're struggling with in your life, whether it's shadow work or something else. And then we can see, okay, how can I help you on that path? How can I assist you in bringing your life to the next level, bringing your personal spiritual growth to the next level, healing trauma, going into these polarities, and then becoming more free and becoming more of a conscious creator in your life, and that you can create the life that you want. And that's something I would be honored to help you with. So you can press the link below. And if you also like this video, then give it a like down below, and also make sure to subscribe if you want more content like this. So have a great day.